So the Birds of Prey Rotten Tomatoes score and critical reviews have been revealed. I'm going to be going through, the score itself and analysing some of the reviews in this video and giving my perspective on the whole Birds of Prey drama surrounding the movie. And before I get into that, I just want to say that I'm the kind of YouTuber who, likes to look at a movie, when I see it myself. I don't let critical reviews or early reviews kind of judge my opinion on a film. I can understand that people kind of relate to them, and I do like discussing them and seeing comparisons between certain reviewers and what my overall opinion is on the film and how that correlates to that. But yeah, as I said, overall I'm going to watch the movie on Friday and do a review and, give my own opinion on it. So if you haven't already and you do enjoy this video, remember to click the like button, subscribe so that you do get notified of my Birds of Prey review when it comes out on Friday. But without further ado, let's get into the Birds of Prey Rotten Tomatoes score and critic reviews. So the initial score for Birds of Prey is currently sitting at 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, with only 52 reviews counted. Now obviously the reviews may go up, and I'm sure this score will probably come down into the 80s somewhere, but overall the reviewers themselves with the 92% score are giving it about a 3 to 4 out of 5 on average with the reviews, which is pretty decent. I mean, based on the response we saw last week with the reaction saying that it was, a really fun movie. It wasn't anything game-changing, but it was fun, and it kind of brought that Deadpool style. I think most of these critical reviews are reflecting that. They're saying a lot of the, the fun aspects to the film. They're saying about Black Mask and how he's a really, interesting, eccentric villain in this film, and how the action is a big standout point. One of the only negatives that I've heard from some of these reviews, or the main central negative, is the fact that Harley is kind of put at the central, positives of this film, whereas the other Birds of Prey are kind of sidelined. And I don't really mind that. I mean, there's a reason that I guess they threw on that tagline and why the marketing has been focused on Harley Quinn, because she is going to be the marketing drive for this film and the character that everyone's interested in seeing, especially after Suicide Squad. So that makes sense. I don't really think that's a negative you can count in the film, but obviously until we all see the films, the film ourselves, then we'll know how much that dwindles on the quality of the film. But starting off with Empire, I mean, they're the first review I looked at. They obviously gave the film a 3-star, which, is decent. I guess most of them are giving it a 3 or a 4. They're basically, discussing the action and discussing the fun, of course, and the fidgety, breathless start, which a lot of people have said about how there's like this animation and it kind of tries to push away her ties to Joker at the start of the film, which I guess they had to do if Joker wasn't going to be in this film. But that, as I said, that makes sense, but I guess it's not really something that will drag down the entire movie based on these reviews. And then obviously the whole fun thing is being stressed in these reviews about how it's so much fun, and how this girl team up is really interesting to see. I'm still kind of wary on that. I'm still I'm gonna watch the movie myself and see what I think of it, because I'm more driven towards the more thoughtful, dark superhero movies that actually deal and interrogate characters more. That's just what I'm more attracted to. But at the same time, if they make a fun superhero movie that has a good story, good character development, I'm totally down for it. So for me, with this movie, it's all down to the character development and story. If that is all over the place and messy like Suicide Squad, then I probably won't like this movie. But it's interesting to see how they're putting such an emphasis on the reviews with the fun of the film, and even though it's got a clunky plot, essentially the fun makes up for it, and that's something that I'm kind of worried about going into the film. But we'll have to see how that turns out. But overall, at the end of this Empire review, they do make a statement about the whole Me Too Time's Up thing, and that's something that I was also worried going into this movie about, how essentially if they put too much emphasis on the politics, will that push away fans from the film and push away people who are interested in seeing this next installment in the DCEU. I personally want to see a film that focuses, as I said, on story and characters. I don't mind if there's peppering of you know, feminism in there and stuff. There's nothing, I have nothing against that, but just, you know, give me a good film at the forefront of, you know, what this movie is. And it seems like Empire is saying that it really does take that approach, and I think I've seen a few reviews that have said that. There are one or two that have, you know, focused a lot on politics, but I mean, overall, it's not the response in terms of the political side of the film that I expected, and I think that's a good thing. But Empire have said it's a film forged in the age of Me Too, Time's Up, but wears any messaging lightly. This is just a group of women supporting each other, getting things done. It's so much fun when the group finally come together. It feels like a misstep not having them together sooner and more often. A lot of people are saying that actually in their reviews. Save Harley, the characters aren't deeply drawn, but they are willingly played. So, you know, overall, I think, you know, based on that Empire review, I think, you know, also on the IGN review, they're mentioning kind of the fun and stuff to do with the movie and how they'd like to see Poison Ivy in the next movie. Essentially, that there's a lot of, you know, late timing with the bringing together of the Birds of Prey, and that it really does set up more. And that's something that I think we're used to seeing in the Marvel films, where they kind of, you know, bring people together. There's a lot of teasing for the next movie, and, you know, they kind of keep on that effect that essentially brings people in consistently to the movies, which, I mean, I can understand why people like that. It's not my cup of tea, personally. I like to see an individual film that, you know, really does bring something and makes you, you know, sucked into that story, and, you know, it's well worth kind of your money that you pay to go and see it. That's kind of what I'm into, but I can understand if people like that. That's my reflection on that, and I think this IndieWhy review is kind of pointing out a few things about that. But overall, I think they were pretty happy with the film, even though they had a few problems with the film's structure. They said it's entertaining at the end of the day, and says it's a strange place to leave a film that unites its disparate parts with a gutsy, you know, entertaining climax. But the violent finale ultimately gives way to a head-scratching finish. So I think that's one of the only reviews I've seen that after the finale, or the main action sequence, they're saying that essentially the ending is a bit, you know, all over the place, which I haven't seen in any of the other reviews, but I guess I'll have to check that out for myself. Variety have also put up a pretty decent review overall, but they do state that as a movie, and this is quoted from the review, as a movie it's thin, lively, loud, brash, diverting and forgettable. So even though they're saying obviously that it's better than Suicide Squad, they're saying the plot itself and the things that happen in the movie is kind of forgettable, which I kind of got, you know, from the marketing campaign itself. I am excited for the movie and I can't wait to see it, but at the end of the day, I think it feels very generic in its actual, you know, its structure and its scenes based on what we've seen from the trailer. And by that, I mean kind of the idea of the film and the story, and, you know, kind of the approach we're going for. We've seen it in films like Deadpool, as a lot of these, you know, reviewers are mentioning, and there's nothing wrong with taking elements from other superhero movies. I just feel like they are kind of taking elements that we've seen before and mashing it into this crazy, you know, ride that may work, may not, but it looks like, you know, a lot of reviewers are happy with this so far. I personally don't know what to think based on these reviews. I'm in a very mixed place right now with this film. Obviously, in my last video, I expressed that I'm really excited for the film. Obviously, as I said, I go into a movie and I give my own kind of review of it. My own expectations are kind of, you know, brought into the cinema with me, not by anyone else. I don't, you know, judge a movie based on reviews that are already out there. So as with every film, I'm going to go into this and give it its own fair chance. At the end of the day, whoever sees a movie, they're going to have their own opinion on it. Not everyone is going to agree on a movie. That's why movies are subjective. But I do think that, you know, Birds of Prey is the kind of movie that falls into that bracket, that if it does get positive reviews or over positive reviews, then people will, you know, think, oh well, because of the concept and because they've been given other movies with similar concepts and similar themes and, you know, political opinions, the kind of same reaction, is this more of an agenda than it is a review? And we're gonna have to see. I mean, I'm looking forward to the film, as I say. There's no hate against the film. I love DC. Joker was my favourite movie of last year. Obviously, this is a completely different side of the spectrum to Joker as a film. It's obviously part of the DCEU, which I've liked half of the movies from and half of them I haven't. But then, you know, Joker, again, as I said, was that kind of film that just did it for me. So we're going to have to see what happens with this. I'm remaining cautiously optimistic about this film. I'm going to give you my honest reaction on Friday, what I think about it, and, you know, my overall review. If, you know, any of the political stuff clouds my review and or clouds my, you know, reaction to the film, I guess. So subscribe if you want to see that. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Let me know down below what you think of the Birds of Prey reviews and if you think they're trustworthy or not. I'm looking forward to it. I'll let you know Friday what I think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.